Hi, it's KV, and I'm in a different room right now. I just got back from my evening hike, and I'm usually out there for like 3 hours, and I left a little early, thinking I would be back so that I could have like a half an hour before the sun went down. But then, of course, I totally lost track of time, and so I'm having to use another room that's right by some patio door lighting. So I'm kind of like doing the solar thing right now to keep these as light as I can. But so I'm in my studio right now. So anyway, and I'm in race mode because I was trying to get back here so quickly. So anyway, okay, let me just calm myself down for a minute. Okay, you know what? So I do have a lot of things to. Oh, and I'm also standing, so this will be a different kind of reading because that's where I'm having to adjust because I'm like, oh, I can move my body, so it feels different. And I'm actually thinking this is so much more fun. I should have been doing this the whole time. Like standing and moving feels a lot better. But anyway, so I do want to let you know I have some articles up on. I'm going to let you know this first so we can get this out of the way. I have a couple articles up on Aquarius Nation. One is on Mercury retrograde and what this means for you. Another one is on, there's a really big detox energy that's going on right now with us. That's why you're not feeling so good, not sleeping really well, grumpy, sad, out of nowhere. And it all has a purpose. But anyway, so I wrote about that on one of the articles. And I also am going to be starting a podcast, and I'm so incredibly stoked about this because that is like my true element. Like that's where I feel like 100% confident that I can do it and I'll do a really good job. Whereas like, being on a video and looking at a dot and not knowing who I'm talking to is not exactly comfortable for me. So that's why it sometimes takes me a minute to put the two together. But when I can just talk and whenever and about whatever, I will just have a blast. So I'm hoping to do them something like 5 times a day, and it's going to be where I'm going to be talking astrology and what's going on for the day. And then I'm going to come and bring some new earth life skills wisdoms. So it's going to be like what you're hearing here, but it's going to be more often and in little bite-sized pieces instead of a whole video. So we're just going to talk about things that make you think, and those kind of things that help you feel safe in the world, that remind you to go slow and to slow things down. The things that we'll be talking about, things that are about walking the new earth energies, how to really work this new world we're in now, like how to really be this energy that attracts what you want, because everything's kind of flip-flopped upside down and it's not the same world out there. So there's a whole new game plan that has to come about, and from all these planets being in retrograde, that's where I'm always telling you I love planets in retrograde, and you guys need to embrace that too, because there's so much magic in it. There's reasons for all of it. Just like how we become stronger from the most difficult things in our life, even if they do bring up things that are difficult, that means there's great learning in it. If it happened in this window, there's great learning in it. There's something to it. There's something for you to delve deeper with it. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But during the during all the retrogrades, it really came to me. I've just really been feeling what people need, and where they are stopped from going further into the land that is bliss, that I'll talk about in the podcast. I'm not going to do it now, but it is a real life thing, but it's a lot calmer than what you think. But so I realized that what people really need is more of like, almost like, definitely just more doses of it, more like daily planting the seeds with things that make you think, planting the seeds of things that make you be here in this moment, planting the seeds that help you to gain a new perspective of something that seemed like something so horrible, like ending a relationship with someone or getting fired, or all these things that we tend to think of as bad. So gosh, I feel so brain scattered right now. It's because Neptune's with Mercury and I'm Pisces, so get those both in retrograde motion, and I have a really hard time describing things and putting words to things because it's all in here and it's all so visual and it's so creative. So those are my things. Oh, the podcast is going to be called Earth Walk, and I'll talk about how that name came to me in the first one, because it did come when I asked, what is it? And it was so perfect. I was like, that's exactly what I'm doing. That's exactly what I love to share. That's like perfect. Like there's nothing more perfect. I was like, that's it. But so it's going to be called Earth Walk. It's going to start soon. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how that flow goes. But I do think that I'm going to be separating from this arena a little bit, because it isn't my top-notch thing. It's not really what I'm really good at. And one of the things I'll be talking in the podcast a lot about is helping people to narrow it down on a couple things that you're really good at. We change so much in life that later on you can be doing this. Like later on, I could be more into this, but right now I almost want to make space for to work on the podcast and then these other things that I'm creating that are so incredibly cool. They're like the coolest tools ever. I feel like, like I'm so honored to be bringing this through, so I want to focus on that too. So I'm just going to leave it up in the air though, but I do feel like I want to separate a little bit from this. But you'll see too that once the podcasts are up, you'll have so much of me and this that I probably won't even have anything else to talk about, So maybe I'll just do videos when it's a special thing, or I would like to do videos when I just talk about a certain topic and a certain thing that you're wondering about. Oh, and that's something with the podcast too. I'm going to have a question answer thing, because I've always wanted to be Dear Abby. Like I always wanted to do something like that. I wanted to have a column, for sure a column. And so I'm going to do things like that too, with kind of asking questions. And so I met this guy, and like that's my favorite. I'm like, bring it. Let's get questions. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to cover so many things that are so kick-ass, and I think every one of you is going to love it hardcore, and you'll like to have it in your more daily habit of connecting more into the astrology, where I'll talk more about the moon placement, and I'll even be showing you how to track it in your chart, because that's what people in my moon journeys have learned to do. So that's what this podcast is kind of based around that too. So but anyway, 9 minutes, okay, 8 minutes. So I think that's enough on that. So this too, this full moon right now is so fantastic. And I'm always talking something like that though. Everything just, gosh, it just feels so good. Like this one feels so powerful. It even feels like such a chart to me, like something changes now. It even feels like that big, like, we're really peeling away from those things that are so old world structure, the things that are so limiting and ass backwards, but we've continued to carry them through the generations, and it just comes natural, so we do this and we think this way. Thinking back to the 60s and just imagining like white people feeling that they had every right to like kill black people because of their skin color. Like, I'm so glad I wasn't around then, because it's unfathomable to me. It's like the most old world moronic, how could anybody buy into that, But so those kind of things, those things that are so like just need to be dead and done, and they're very limiting. It's even things like, believing that you can't really be an artist, or you can't really live your dreams, or all those kind of just old world ways of thinking that are keeping you limited and in this older version of what you can be. when you kind of transform and awaken and realize what's really valuable in life, and the budding that happens, the blossoming that happens of, you know, a new way of living life. And right now what's happening with us is that piece by piece, layer by layer, experience by experience that we are experiencing now, we are getting closer to really seeing all those things, you know, that are completely unique for us. So, I mean, they can be so many things, you know, it can be things with your body. There's a lot of things right now with people, because the energies are very much about where we're examining what we need to do to feel safe in our bodies and in this earth. So, like, realizing that we really do need that foundational thing with which to branch out and expand into the life of our dreams. And so that's where we're at right now. And but a lot of this is too, I mean, it's still so much, the chart is still so much about, but be patient and go slow and go bit by bit by bit. Yes, we're having a gateway that is really exposing all those old world, limited, ass backwards, I need to come up with better words to describe it, but that just those things that are so, women not being able to vote, you know, things that were like, how could that happen? You know, those things that we just see in the world that are so like written in fear, and they're hard for me to come up with because of the Neptune right now, so I can see this stuff, but I feel like you get what I'm talking about. So all those things that, you know, I've never even accepted, because I've been one of the most obnoxious people to people in my life, in my family, like growing up, because I just didn't understand. I'd be like, but why? You know, it's just, it was always really natural and easy for me to feel these things that were like, that's not right. We shouldn't do that. That's not a nice way to treat people, you know. So you understand that I was always shut down, stop talking about that. You can't, da-da-da. What? Da-da, you know, so we're all kind of, that's why I said I can't really name them, because I've never really accepted them, so my memory bank doesn't even really have them. But you know what I mean, those things that are just limiting, can't do, you're never going to be good enough. Some people win, some people lose, you're a loser, accept it. You know, and also just that there's not ways out of situations like bipolar, depression, schizophrenia, fibromyalgia, a lot of these things, like there's other things to them. And so even that's an old world thing that's falling away right now, is that we can't heal this stuff, that it is just said and done. So we're opening to this other arena that miracles happen and healings happen, and these things that are just beyond our wildest dreams can happen. So to get to that, we have to get rid of all these dense, toxic layers of all that past stuff put into us. And most of it's just in our minds, you know. And if you've been addicted to the mind space, as most people have, that's what people think of as winning. That's the winning team, is the mind space. And now we realize the winning team is the heart space. The winning team is the gut space. You put the heart with the gut and you're like winner, you know. And like mind is like, you need it for some things, but it's not where we're supposed to be. And even like that, I should say that one of the things that's funny is when the podcast came to me, because I thought about it years and years and years ago, and it just now came to me of like, now you're supposed to do it now. But so I was like, what am I going to call it? 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 And I went like half crazy, and then waking up even at night and like, what about that? What about that? What is that? What is that? What is that? What about that? What does that feel? What's the numerology? Da 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 da. Then I was just like, I have to ask people. You know, I even put it on my post about Mercury retrograde, which I should just take that off of there because whatever. But I was so going outside of my body and saying, somebody help me, you know, what do I need to do? Which one is good? What do you think? What do you think? And first off, I'm not even that kind of person. I don't tend to be, what do you think? I don't care what you think. I want to do what I think. I want to do what feels good to me, you know, and of course I care what they think. I didn't really mean it like that, but I meant like as the guidance tool, what does my body say? So I wasn't doing that though. I was doing the old mentality wins. You can figure it out with your mind, and I did. I went half crazy, and then I was finally out hiking 2 nights ago, I think it was, 3, and I can't remember when it came to me now. But I just was I was sick of messing around with it, and I was just like, guides, you need to tell me what this is, you know, and then. A little bit more, and then they said earth walk, and I was like, and that's where it was like, it was in my body, you know, and it was like that's it, that's home, that's what feels safe, you know, because safe is home, what's right is home. And so that's the space of energy that we're all moving into, and that's what the Mercury retrograde is about right now, because it's starting going backwards in Cancer. And then it's, you know, at the end degrees of Cancer. So that's where we're so thinking in the culmination of what I need to do to feel safe, what I need to do to have family and home. You know, those are really big too, where you're wanting to like create family, create solid, create stability, have that in your life. And then we're going to be going back into Gemini with Mercury going retrograde, and then it's going to be where we're really kind of seeing all these places where we have been giving too much attention to our mind determining things for us, and really kind of going into the belly space and into the heart space, and what feels good, what do you really want to do, who do you really love, not who do you, and this is one that's big for me, my gosh. But yeah, we get into the thinking who we should love, but it's like, who really does do something in your belly, like who really does, you know, do something in your heart, like, and I'll talk about this in the podcast, because I'm going to talk about the new earth relationships that are coming together, and they're coming right now. It's so amazing, they're so beautiful, it's freaking me out how connected these people are who are coming together now, where they do have so many, like almost every planet's making a connection with another one, like in a serious way, you know. And it's like, oh my god, look at this, it's like creating like a mandala of this beautiful, like, so something's changing for sure. But one of the, what I'll talk about in the podcast, I'll talk about that, is that they are really kind of, there's unique factors to them, you know, so definitely things that surprise our minds can tend to be how this comes together, because it is, again, everything with the taking you to the heart, the taking you to the belly, the taking to you to what this feels like. And that's where we're all going to be like, feely, I feel, and there's going to also be a lot of sadness too. There's going to be waves of sadness, and you're not going to have any idea why you're feeling that way, and that is part of the plan. You don't have to think about it, just feel it. Yeah, it does. I just feel sad. I almost made a post on Facebook several days ago, going to bed. I was just like, I just feel sad. I just wanted to say it. I just feel sad. But yeah, for no reason. There's no reason, but there actually is a reason, because on further feeling, some things can tend to come up. But it's not something with thinking, because if you try to think about, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel this way? You know, and it's funny, I had an appointment today with something, and this woman was asking me, you know, how do you feel? You know, and I was like, because I came into the appointment being like, I don't feel good. Like, I think I'm just really detoxing, and I don't da-da-da. And then I was on the table, and she was asking more about that, and then I couldn't really even put it into words, you know, and later on she said, you were like a 10-year-old when you were trying to answer that. And I was like, yeah, because it's like, it's a feeling thing, but like, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't feel really good. I mean, now I feel awesome. I've totally snapped off that wave, but that's what's going to be happening with you guys. And there's reasons for it. You know, even with me and it happening today, things came through. I kind of thought of some things, you know, some stuff came up, so they won't come right away. It's more on, you have to go into the feeling, and when you go into the feeling, then you get this gold mine of wisdom of what it's kind of connected to, but not really, because the feeling just had to take you down to some layers to be able to open to how this felt for you. and what this means. So so that's cool like that. And then you combine too, this is where I'm like, oh, love it. You know, Neptune went retrograde right with it, right after, a couple days after Mercury. And then Neptune's in another water sign. Neptune's in the sign it rules, which is Pisces. So that we got these two waters, and they're both going backwards. And then, yes, Scorpio. Sagittarius is in Scorpio, too. So all the waters are going backwards right now. And that is into our emotions. That is into the feeling of things. But that is also into what happens when we do delve into our emotions and go deeply into them, is that we gain compassion for others. You know, we gain that compassion to want to help people and to think more outside of ourselves and like, but what about them? And you know, what can I do to help? What can I do to, you know, wanting to come in and rescue and take care of? You know, it's just a nurturing, there's a nurturing, loving, healing, humanitarian energy that is just, has to birth into all of us in order to fully bring the new earth ways, because the new earth energies are here. Like the new earth ways are here. The new earth is here, but we have to wait for the people to match that. And then when they match that, we spread, you know, we spread that energy. So that's why it's an inside job, and it's all on us, and it starts with this feeling thing. And for a lot of us, we have to have it feeling sad in order to take us to lower layers of getting to that point of being like soft-hearted with people and compassionate, and not I'm better, I'm superior, I'm the winner, I'm the best, like none of that, you know, where it's just like, you know, more of that connectivity of just kind of feeling everybody, you know, because when you feel everybody, you understand that we've all been through our own trials and tribulations. You know, we've had these journeys and heartbreak and disappointment, and you know, we're all just trying to fight, keep it going, and fight the hard old world fight of understanding that anybody would do that stuff to you, or understanding that, you know, whatever. I don't think I need to go into, that was like 20 rabbit holes. I'm like, podcast, now I get to say that all the time. We'll talk about that on the podcast. But so that's going on, and it's pretty dark out there. Let me see. Oh, this kind of worked out okay, I guess. But you can see me. Let me make sure we're recording. Okay. So let's see. Let me look at the chart. See, there's so many yads on this day too. It's so far out. Like it's so, I remember when I first drew it up and like felt the symbols, I was like, it's so much. It's so much about, that's why I feel like, I don't know if I finished my sentence, I feel like right now is a really pivotal, shifting, changing, new space point, because everything has come together in such a beautiful way to work together and to really kind of like open people's hearts. You know, that's why we do have to have a lot of, you know, things that are at the same time, like I said, breaking us down, like really sad things happening to people, and just the most shocking things that we just think that's just so unfair, you know, how could, but we do have to understand that those are actually happening to liberate us into moving more into the new world ways, because even things like with guns, you know, things with like paying attention enough to people to notice that something's not right, you know, like not being so, because if you are an empath and you are, you know, close to that bliss vibe, and you are in that humanitarian space of feeling what others need, because you're not, you know, walking through stores being bummed about how you just got or whatever happened in your life, where you're just not really even in the store because you're in your thing, how most people are, how we just pass people and don't look at them and don't even really recognize them as people. And so that's something that we are tuning more into. Oh, but that's what I was saying. I'm sorry, I went off on another tangent. I felt it at least. But that's something with like being able to see that someone's in pain. And you know, us even more like coming forward. Because see, I have a really big history of suicides. I have so many people who have killed themselves, and several times I was closely linked into it. So it's affected me hugely, and I didn't see the signs, and I was too in my own thing. And so when, you know, we can create change through this stuff that comes that's so devastating. I mean, everything in the world is, though. It's hard to even give importance to any one thing, because it's like there's so much. It's like overwhelmingly, ridiculously old world, limiting, holding back, exploitating, you know, ways of, you know, this old world, which is, I'm just going to take what I need, and I'm not going to care about anybody else as long as I'm fed. You know, like I always tell you with Fukushima, how they, with the nuclear plants, they had the option of, there was a way that they could have spent a whole bunch more money and have one that could shut off. And it was a money thing, of course, and there it was even termed as, it was even spoken as, future generations can figure out how to handle this if it happens. You know, it started with that mentality of somebody else can deal with it. You know, same thing as I'm going to throw my trash onto the street. Somebody else can deal with it. You know, that's the old world mentality. I'm going to cut down trees. Maybe we do need them. I mean, not if we're shipping them to China. Come on. That's wrong. But anyway. So, but if you're cutting down trees, plant new trees, you know. So there's ways that we're having to shift into the sustainability life, and that is by facing all of the scarcity, unlife things of the old world. And we're in such a huge spot right now where we're getting it. You know, where we're, you know, there's even like a resolve that's coming in a lot of people where you're saying like, I can change this, I can't change that. You know, even with people, like some people are just, you know, older and religious and are just in these things that they're not going to change. Don't worry about it. Let them be who they are. Don't try to change them. Don't try to educate them about chemtrails and, you know, all the stuff. Just let them be, you know, because it is like, accept who you can change and accept who you cannot. Right now it's really just about getting us all on that vibration that can spread us fully into the new world energies, because they're here. Like it's here now. Like there's an overlap here, and now we just have to double our numbers and triple our numbers and, you know, be this stuff, be it. And that's why I'm coming out with Earth Walk, so that I can be with you on more of a regular basis, to plant that seed every day with you, so you can walk out and be it. Be conscious of this, because that's the thing, like, you know, with videos, you know, and with books, people tend to consume them so quickly, and they go, yeah, I get it, yeah, I get it, yeah, I get it, yeah, I get it, yeah, I get it. But like each one of them actually needs to be walked, you know, through a season with, you know, like it needs to, each one is one bite-sized piece. And if you can take it and then go out and walk it and see it in the world, that's how it cements into your body. And if there's too much of the quick reading, it just becomes all the information in your mind. So that's why I know that I'm being called to come forward and be more of a daily force in planting, like all these things I've been talking about today, but dividing this up into 7 days of messages, you know. So yes, I'm so excited. I'll take that job. So something's like really, you know, it's just like, it's so incredibly powerful. And I would expect even things that are like enormous, I don't know if I'd use insights. I guess I would in a way, because it's going to come to you. It's just this grasping of things. It's just this awakening to things. It's just this like, oh my God, I can see that now, where before I couldn't. It's the solving of things, and a lot of them can be new mysteries that you didn't even really wonder about, but you'll be like, you'll just see it reenacted in somebody else or something, and then you'll be like, oh my God, I've always done that. I've believed that too, you know? So there's a lot of room for that that's going to really be moving us more forward into having these minds that are geared towards creativity, positivity, love, all these things that are more like our unique thing to do, that our heart says this is it, and not our mind says, oh, I need to learn this other thing, I need to do this other thing, I need to da 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 da. But what are the things that like your body's like, oh, this feels so good in my body, and two, you know, like if it's not there yet, those things, it's just about calling it in and, you know, saying, you know, that you want to recognize it through the feeling of it, you know, bring this thing to me and I want to know that it's my thing by how good I feel doing it. And those things change throughout our life, you know. That's why our careers and stuff evolve and go into all these different layers, because sometimes this feels so good to you, and then other times you're off to another level and, you know, doing this other stuff. So it's really about honoring what feels good to you right now, you know, because you may be feeling like, oh my gosh, the thing I would really like to do in my life right now, like what I would really, really like to do in my life right now, that has all the components of what would give me the free time I need to do these other things, and what would give me the components to live decently, and what would give me the components to, you know, whatever you think you need in your life. And then you just very well may be, dude, I want to get a job at a coffee shop for the week, for the summer, or for whoever knows how long. I want to get a bartending job. I want to get the best bartending jobs, in my opinion, are the ones that are that mid-afternoon. So it's like 11 to 3 or 4 when the night crew comes on. Those are the fun times to bartend, because that's when you get to sit there and talk to everybody. That's like, I would love to have like a bartending job like that now, like, you know, on some beach or something. I mean, like, just allow, you know, this is what I'm going to talk about a lot on the podcast, but just allow whatever job, natural job comes to you right now to come to you, and not to have to worry so much about the future of what you should do. That's that thing I was trying to explain earlier, all the should do's, the rules. It has to be like this. You can't do that. So, you know, kind of letting off on your future, letting off on the, you know, on the living your dreams, you know. Because I think what's most important is actually living in the bliss. Because when you're living in the bliss space, which I'm going to talk about on the podcast, I'm not even going to tell you guys this stuff anymore, but I'm going to tell you through just sound. And but when you're at that, nothing matters as I should be doing this, I need to be doing this, I'm how old, I haven't had that yet, oh my God, something's wrong with me. Like, all that stuff is like gone when you're in the bliss and everything. It's really just kind of really being on the roller coaster finally, but like enjoying it. You know, sometimes goes down, okay, all right, well, I know it's going up, I can already see where I'm going, you know, like, and then woohoo! And so that's being on the bliss, where it's just like, it's just this trusting flow of life. So what's most important, in my opinion, is that everybody find the bliss and stop messing around with worrying about having been married, partner, worrying about living your soul's dream, you know. But one thing that the planets are really encouraging right now is that we are going inward, inward, inward. We have Mercury, Saturn, Pluto, and who's the other one? And Neptune. That's why I forgot that, see? Ooh, Pisces! I'm like so showing my Pisces right now. So all those going retrograde, that's like inward. But it's inward, and it's about heightened creativity. This is like my favorite. See, I love Mercury retrogrades. I always figure everything out. I know I'm going to, so I look forward to them. I'm like, oh good, there's a Mercury retrograde coming. I can get that done. I can figure out who I'm going to hire for that. I can do so. I love these times. But bring Neptune too, and you've got heightened creativity. You've got serious like dream. Oh, you know, how to create the bliss. This is like the closest way right now we are. Like, how do I find bliss? How do I find contentedness? You know, how do I I figure out a way to be happy and, you know, be okay with what's happening. And that's why it's really this big inside job. But while you're in the inside, you're then going to be facing these things that need to transform, that need to die, that need to leave your life, that are sucking you dry. You know, those things that are just, they're not good for you, and you've just gotten addicted to them, and you've kept them, and you've just been like, oh, it'll work out, I'll just da-da-da. But over this, you know, this time right now, there's just going to be a lot of thinking about, you know, because Mercury is really kind of bringing all of that to the forefront. And so that's where, you know, you're going to be thinking about how to upgrade, how to transform, how to break out of these limiting shackles that say, no, you have to, you know, do this, it has to be like this. I was watching something last night, and it struck me about ties and suits and what, like, businessmen, like, and I don't have one businessman percent in me. Oh, wait a minute, actually I do. I'm pretty smart with business. What I'm talking, I mean, like, that, the image of that, the image of like a businessman, and that look, and I just suddenly looked at it, and I was like, that is so, like, fucked up. It's like something about it, in a tie, and I'm like, that's so, like, robot. I don't know, something's like weird about it. And then even like tight here and throat, and like, and then the tie going down all the chakras, you know, it's like block, 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 just this, you know. I had like the hugest insight over it last night. Never even thought about it. But yeah, so that's something too, like insights, they're just going to be coming to you right now. You're just getting things, you're just connecting things, and they're going to be leading you to living in a more compassionately creative I liked that. Compassionately creative life, where that is the life where you accept what comes to you as, this is where I should be right now. And that's why I tell you too how, you know, it took me 13 years to manifest what I'm doing right now, even though I created it all and was done with it 13 years ago. I created it. You know, so it's like there's these seasons and timing, and I knew that. I mean, I knew that because I pushed so hard to make it work, and nothing would work. I kept, you know, every year I'd try again to push and make it work, and then nothing and nothing, and then, but I always just knew I'm supposed to be doing this other stuff right now. And I was always like working in coffee shops and cafes. Like, I think those are some of the best jobs ever. I'm like, they're wonderful. You have such short hours, you make good money, you get to meet all these cool friends that you work with. You always have this huge family of most kick-ass people, and then you get to like interact with all these people, and but you want to pick where you work. You want to work at a place that has cool people coming in it, you know, and then you just have so much fun. So that's why I was like, oh, I don't get to live my dreams yet. Okay, I'll go back. But then I did finally get to be like, okay, I'm done with this. Like, I'm kind of done with it now. And then kind of at the same time, the gates did open. I'm like, oh, is that all I had to do? No, that's not the truth. I was saying I was done with it all the time, because I was always getting so sick of those restaurant jobs, because you get sick of them. That's why you have to then pick a new place, because every new place has a whole new family, and that's how you just keep doing it. You're supposed to change those jobs a lot. Okay, so let's see if we kind of got, I don't even know if I really said everything I need to because of the Neptune being retrograde. So you can, you know, you can definitely more expect, like, you can't get the words out, or you can expect like you're saying things and you had no screen or filter, and you're like, oh my God, did I just tell you that I like you? You know, so it can be something where you're just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I said that, or almost, you know, coming too forward, not being able to really screen our thoughts right now. But fortunately, our thoughts are so on all these things that are for the betterment. And what's really great too is that later in the month, Chiron's going retrograde too. So they're all going to be retrograde together. It's so perfect, because that's the one that's really going to unlock some codes for us, unlock some things for us that are the wound related, like what we are still holding as memories in our cells and in our bodies, and all the pain and the hurt, and, you know, and all that stuff, and you know, coming together too with the Pluto and the Neptune, and then Saturn for a little while longer. But you know, it's really like giving us this super big power to like let it go, you know, and there's going to be really big shifts of healing, like I said, in people's lives, of just really like freedom, like being free, finding freedom, finding those things that we didn't realize were keeping us locked in this other state of a life that was miserable. And you know, that's where a lot of them I'm feeling with the body. Like there's going to be a lot of keys with people's bodies, and I'm going to bring more information on that on the website too, with that. But yeah, so there's going to be just the changes implemented, the things that are coming over the next 3 weeks, you know, even a little longer. So don't rush this. Again, like I said that earlier, the things are going to come to you. I would journal a lot, because there's so much that wants to come through in symbols, in old memories, in the feelings of the sadness, but there's going to be lots of breaks too. So it's not like this is going to be a miserable time. It's not going to be a miserable time at all. I've never, when did I call that, you know, big cardinal square a miserable time? Was it a miserable time? I mean, really, like where you are right now looking back, like was it miserable? Or have you like really gained in a lot of places of just like enough? I'm ending this marriage. I want love. I can't do this. I'm ending living here. Enough of this job. You know, like we're very much like, I'm going to start taking care of my health. I'm going to honor what I put into my body. I'm going to honor the thoughts that I say in my head. You know, so there's so much that we're not even the same people we were like a year ago, not even close. I mean, really like think about it. Think about the things that have happened and stuff, you know, it's like you're not even close. But so, to the same people. So right now it's, you know, just a really big wave of it, and it's so cool. And I think I'm going to get ready to stop with that. Oh, and you know what else I just thought of? That's funny. Is that I have the chart down here because I'm standing with the bookshelves. The chart's right here with all these bones. I have mass loads of bones that have been given to me. You can see it's like it's a whole bucket of I'm so lucky. But I haven't figured out, I haven't done anything with them yet. This is the first time I've even spent as much time with them, with the chart sitting on top of them. This is like this, I'll be like carrying them with me everywhere now. One of the cool things, another cool thing, you can also go check this out on my, I wonder if I should even say, I'm not even going to say that, never mind. We'll let that just happen organically if it's meant to. I suddenly got shy, that's funny. So I think I'm going to stop with that. I need to go eat dinner. And, yeah. So I hope I said enough. I hope I made some points. I think I talked more like ideas, I don't know, Neptune, Pisces, retrograde, Pisces. This is the excuse I'm going to get. This is probably another reason why I want to pull back for a couple months, because it's going to be harder for me to do it this way. I can write it, and I can do it without connecting the I to you guys, to the dot, to a screen, to me in front of myself. So, okay, but anyway, you have a beautiful full moon. It's happening right now. I can feel the energies of it. I love it so much. So, yes, and I will keep you posted. You can always, you know, keep up with me on Facebook. And no, stop. I want to keep talking, and I don't want to though. I'm like, stop. You're gonna have day after day after day after day after day after day to talk. It's gonna be so great. Okay, so I'm gonna let you go there. I hope you have a beautiful day today, because you'll probably get this on the full moon. And yeah, so I think we should probably stop, because I can't even figure out what to say as a goodbye. So I think we're going to stop there. You have a beautiful day. We'll leave it at that. See, this is proof that I'm not really good with the camera. This is more reason for me to go, see, you go knucklehead, you go shy. Okay.